this video, we're going to go over how to handle sacrifices, peer pressure with fitness goals. This is for anybody who feels like starting a fitness journey might involve sacrifices. Maybe you have to talk about this with people who just don't get it. And it's so natural to feel hesitant about the changes, especially when it evolves, feeling like you got to give up things like eating out, drinking, partying, all that stuff. So I know when you're starting out, the biggest fear could be isolation. And like I said, giving up the things you love, like partying or eating out. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like there's two extremes to every side. One view that someone might think that they need to do is changing their entire lifestyle and every tiny aspect of your life, like your friend group, your usual routine, maybe hobbies. The other extreme view where there's absolutely no changes you have to make. All you gotta do is just put in some work at the gym and you're good. What I always preach about, especially with my clients and as my whole philosophy as a health and fitness nutrition coach, there should be a happy medium between both. Having certain body goals that you're trying to hit does not mean you need to give up traveling, eating out, partying if that's your thing, drinking. Like, yes, there are sacrifices you have to make. Like, for example, if you're someone who loves to eat out or you have friends that are just real party people, instead of going, maybe 5 days out of the week, you might have to cut it back to like 1 or 2. Maybe it can involve going to less gatherings with family because either they might peer pressure you into eating more or they might ridicule and make fun of you for wanting to do better because it's a self-reflection of what they wish that they could do. Or maybe it's just they go out so often and have all these social gatherings that it involves so much like kind of foods like hot dogs and hamburgers, and it's just stuff that you can't fit in your own nutrition plan. And when it comes to family and friends, you have to understand and you have to accept that not everybody is going to be supportive on your journey. You would think that the family and friends that you've known for years since you were in diapers would be the people to push you the hardest to do better, but they ends up happening is the opposite. Misery likes the company of misery. So if you've all been in the same boat for a long time, it is much easier to bond and connect with those people rather than with somebody who decides, I want to do better for myself. It then causes this ripple effect of who do they think they are? Like, it's basically knowing that you're doing something that somebody else could do, but they just don't have the drive in them to actually do it. And ways that they might find that they can self-sabotage you, saying things like, it's just 1 day of a cheat meal, like it's not that big of a deal, it's just 1 day. They might even make you feel guilty and discourage you from wanting to keep trying. I actually had a client who had just started weighing out her food. She was completely new to food tracking, had bought a scale, she had done all the things, and whenever she would weigh out her food and do certain things, her family would just make fun of her, like, oh, what are you doing now? That's so obsessive. Like all these little things that were anything but encouraging. And one of the challenges that we had to work together with was just pushing through all those negativity so she could focus on what she had to do. Now, months later, she lost over 30 pounds and she was doing so much better only because she was able to push through all that negativity from her family. So with all that said, here are some tips to help make all of this possible, finding that balance. And personally, these are things that have worked for me and some of my clients. So the first thing is setting clear boundaries. Define what sacrifices you are willing to make. Communicate them clearly with all your friends and family, because setting these boundaries is what's going to help you stay committed to your goals without feeling like you gotta be pressured to deviate from it all. The second thing is plan ahead for events. Before attending any type of gathering, a lot of the times you kind of know what type of gathering it's going to be. So plan how you're going to handle the food or maybe even the drink options, because you want to make sure that they align with your goal. You might even have to go the extra mile of bringing your own food if it's something that you know you can't eat. If you're going to a restaurant, you can look up the menu ahead of time to kind of see what type of meals that they are, and then you maybe see if you can customize it on your own. For example, let's say instead of getting that 3 cheese mac and cheese, you know it's not going to be filling, you know it's pretty high in calories, and you know it's not going to support any of your weight loss goals. But there's a really good chance that if you get the chicken entree, it's going to be a lot less calories. There's going to be more protein in it. Maybe you can swap out one of the items for more veggies. You can ask for less butter when they cook it. There's so many tiny things that you can really do to help your journey. While it's something that you may not be able to track or you may not know exactly what's in it, we can all agree that a 3 cheese pasta is a lot better than a well-portioned sized chicken entree. When it comes to going to events that may involve drinking, you can probably safe to say that you can bring your own drinks, whether it's the lower calorie kind, or you can just bring your own non-alcoholic beverages, whether it's diet soda. My go-to right now is Olipop, which is basically a placement of soda that tastes really similar to some of the soda flavors, but it's a lot less calories and there is some fiber in it, so it can kind of help you in the bathroom, or it can just help you feel full. The next thing is finding supportive communities. When you surround yourself with people who have similar goals and support your lifestyle changes, it's a lot easier to stick to your goals. So for example, let's say you just started working out in the gym and you want to find an accountability buddy. There are so many Facebook groups that you could just type in weightlifting women and enter in the state that you're in or the area that you're in, and it's going to pop up with a lot of different options, and you could probably find and connect with somebody who maybe isn't 100% in your area, but at least maybe on the weekends you can drive together, you can do activities together. This will help bring out more connections and friendships that share a common goal with you, and it's not going to feel as lonely. If weightlifting isn't your thing, you can always do fitness classes. This could be yoga, Pilates, Zumba, whatever the case is. Make friends in those fitness groups. It'll be a lot easier to show up together. You can always do brunch after, or you can get coffee after. These are all little things that help you feel more motivated and more supported in your journey. Another thing is mindful eating, but before we actually do mindful eating, it'll be a lot better if you actually learn how to start tracking food. In order to mindfully eat, you have to, 1, understand your hunger cues, and 2, understand portion sizing. That's really difficult to do if you've never tracked. So for example, it's so easy to think, well, yeah, I have this small portion of fries, but you load on the ketchup. So at the end of the day, you end up eating more calories than you need. So what could help is just measuring out what is a serving size of all these different sauces, all these different types of things. So that way when you go out to dinner or when you hang out with friends, you know not to load on like so much on your plate. You know exactly how much you need, how much is exactly going to fill you up. That way you can listen to your hunger cues and think, okay, after I ate this, am I full? Am I slightly full, or am I content type of full? When you understand how to mindfully eat, you can then consciously enjoy hanging out with your friends, being in social settings without feeling like you have to compromise your nutritional goals. The next thing is staying consistent with your workout. I want you to basically open up your calendar and schedule in the days that you're going to work out, and we're going to pretend like this is an appointment. You would never miss your nail appointment. You would never miss your hair appointment. So we're going to treat your workouts to the same level of importance. This is going to help you stay consistent even during your most busiest of weeks. And no, you don't necessarily have to work out 6 days a week in order to actually achieve all this. Even if it just means going to the gym 2 times a week, that's still more than enough, because you have to remember that workouts are just 20% of the work and nutrition is 80%. But you still do need to work out and do some form of exercise. And then the last thing, it kind of goes with boundaries, but educate others about your goals. A lot of the times people will criticize or fear certain things because they don't know anything about it. You can educate why that these goals are important to you and help them understand, support your decision. So for example, when I had just started out at the gym, I was kind of talked down about it because it was like, oh, you're never going to stick to a gym membership. It's just going to be a waste of money, or it's not feminine to work out, so you should probably stick to more feminine type of activities like Pilates and yoga. But I had just really loved building muscle and the whole concept around it. It was really easy for me to get criticized because the people around me didn't fully know what building muscle meant. A lot of the times we probably think in our head like, oh, it's about eating chicken and rice every single day, but it's really not. I've built a whole platform showing women that you don't have to just eat chicken and rice to hit your goals. You can still have pasta, you can still have bread and all these carbs. It's just a matter about portioning it out and becoming educated yourself with nutrition, so that way when people were to make comments, especially I had a client who was at work eating a pasta salad, and the coworker next to her was like, I can never eat that, I'm on keto. While it's great to have different dietary choices, and your dietary choices are your business, it's not okay to criticize other people for what they eat. And what could have helped was, hey, that's great, you're on keto, but this is what works for me and this is what I'm going to stick to. That could be one thing you say. Or another thing you could say as well, are an essential macronutrient and it's something I need to help me hit my physique goal, so this is what I'm going to stick to. The more educated you are, the more likely you can then explain it to other people who don't get it, and hopefully maybe change their minds. And if they don't, that's okay, because then you don't need them in your life. So hopefully this kind of helped you give some perspective on how to handle peer pressure, how to go about with sacrifices in your fitness journey. It actually doesn't feel like a sacrifice. If you have any questions or if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Would love to hear your feedback. But that is it for this video, so I will see you next time.